I awkwardly film like an intro now that we're at the end of this?
Maybe edit
Today,
this out.
Shelly and I are going on our first date.
Ooh, I'm nervous.
Hope I don't have to pay the bill.
Oh, no. Good thing I don't need to rely on the EDD to pay the bill because nobody'd be paying for the date.
Shelly and I are having our first date. We are live. We're not live, are we? We're not live.
We're filming.
We're live to each other. We're not live, but today we are talking over Zoom. Shelly and I have been commenting on each other's videos, sharing each other's content, and even messaging and texting almost daily, but we haven't actually interacted in a video together yet. So we wanted to hop on a Zoom video today and just chat with each other, chat about unemployment, and hang out for a little while.
It's even getting a lot for me to keep track of, quite honestly. There's so many acronyms and so many intricacies.
EDD, PUA, PPP, PEUC, FPUC, MEUC, EIDL,
PPP.
What else? PPP.
There's
so many.
There's so many.
Don't like it.
It's crazy.
It's nuts. I feel like the questions, like when we answer people's questions now, I'm assuming, I say we, even though I haven't asked you this, like for some reason, I assume that you think the same as me. Like if I'm answering a question, I have to read it twice now. Like in my live streams, I feel like they're more awkward to watch because I read the question and then I get to the end of this like paragraph long question and then I have to stop and reread it again because there's 4 different issues in each question. There's a big time span. There's like a timeline of events. And then there's usually like 3 or 4 different issues that they're having with their claims. And they're just compounding on top of one another. And it's just such a big mess. Like,
it's so tricky. I related it as like a check engine light on your car. They were warned about this a long time ago, but if you aren't given the money to fix it, you might put it off until your car won't drive anymore. And unfortunately, we're the car that won't drive anymore. But the EDD was never given the proper money to address the problems from the last recession. So, you know, it seems like they should have made more progress than they have by now. But
we'll joke with you and me about how we should run the EDD. And they would hate us if we were in that job, and we would hate the position, I'm sure, because it seems so difficult to go in and fix decades worth of mess with an inadequate budget and not proper staffing and not proper resources because those have never been set up and in place. And I always tell people I don't want that job when they leave me that comment.
No, I don't either. Although I do think there are a couple of things that they could do that would make it better. For example, Rita has to know that people are up certifying on Sunday mornings. So how hard would it be to like check the message boards, check Twitter, and see if people are having a specific problem? Yeah. Like they're too quiet on Sundays. Like let's be more proactive on that. The same thing, like when there's things like these messages that get sent to people about a 13-week extension that doesn't exist and isn't a glitch, like they should be looking for things like that so that when it crops up, they can make a public statement so that people know what to do.
They could do so much more if 2 random people from the internet can create this volume of content just based on the documents that are available online and reach this number of people by posting 1 video a day or 1 video every couple days. They can devote a staff member to issue 1 5-minute statement a day, a week, etc., that clearly addresses the problems that are going on in the questions, the most frequently asked questions that are coming in. But yet on their Twitter, which most people don't use Twitter and won't ever see it, but that's where they post lots of updates. they will state the most obvious, come to our business seminar, or like, did you know we now offer paid family leave at these number of weeks? And such a waste of a statement. Like, sure, share that content, but address these issues that are going on this week for 5 minutes a day at least. Like, it seems like such a basic level of communication that would solve so many issues. And no, it would not fix the broken computer infrastructure, and no, it would not fix all of the fraudulent problems and all of the many other issues. But for so many people, providing that clarity and that clear information, not on Twitter, but somewhere that is direct to them in an email, in UI Online, in somewhere that's actually an official channel to claimants, like, would solve so many problems.
I agree. I feel like Rita, I feel like she wants to fix it, but I don't think she's going about it the right way at all. I don't know if she doesn't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, nothing against the people in these positions, because they are up against very difficult circumstances, but the communication is what really bothers me the most.
Me too.
Essentially, what bothers me the most is that people can't get paid what's owed to them. But like, underneath that problem, the communication is just alarming. Like, the fact that people don't have information sent directly to them, and things like the reopen claim button and things like the March 7th date, once that was released, was not immediately sent to people directly, and it wasn't sent to them until, what was it, like 3 weeks after the press release, they finally sent them a notification. Like, they published a press release saying we're going to send a notification instead of actually like emailing claimants. It's just alarming. So I feel like how is that not something that can be addressed right away? Like, that's what infuriates me the most currently.
Right. If you're not going to pay people on time, tell them in a timely manner why you're not going to be able to pay them on time. And our claimants have really short 10-day turnarounds to get things submitted, but the EDD has an indefinite amount of time for them to fix these issues. I think at this point in the pandemic too, it wouldn't hurt them to completely update the weekly certification questions, because that's tripping people
up. The childcare, people who are home with childcare, etc. Yeah, among other things. It's a big problem.
You know, if they thought we were going back to work in 2 weeks, which is what I thought when I got furloughed, but at this point, it's been almost a year. Let's like update that form.
We've moved on now to the segment of weird things that the EDD has done this week. Weird thing number one, and we were talking about this yesterday, is the 13-week message that they have been sending out to people. And I haven't seen the text of it, but people have like copy and pasted it or referenced it, like pieces of it in comments. And they are taking it like it's 13 weeks because that's what they said. They apparently, right, this is what you've heard as well, sent out the old letter for the PEUC extension. Is that what you're hearing too?
Yes, and I can actually send you a screenshot of what that looks like. It is the exact same letter that was sent in 2020 when someone first ran out of their first 26 weeks of unemployment benefits. So I'm thinking it's a glitch. It's just something that's automatically programmed to get sent to people who exhaust their first 26 weeks of benefits, but there is not.
I'm waiting to see if they address it in today's press release, which will come out at like 1 a.m. tonight, because weird thing number two that the EDD has been doing is they usually have their press releases out, but good old Rita has them publishing them whenever they want, and they come out at like midnight or 8 a.m. the next day, or 8 p.m. I think was the last one. And so it's all over the place. It's so weird. And I feel like you must be like me and like refreshing the newsroom page for like 8 hours on Thursday.
Yeah, every 15 minutes I refresh the newsroom page, and it cuts into your day. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
What have they done this week that's weird? There's something else.
Asking people to verify their ID who already verified their ID. Have you seen that?
Yes. And telling people that they're incarcerated when they're not incarcerated has been a weird thing. Number, what is this, 3 or 4?
Yeah.
They have been, so the ID thing, and then I have had at least 5 subscribers tell me in the comments that the EDD has either denied their new claim or their reapplication, their refiling, or their current claim has been stopped because the EDD tells them that they're incarcerated and they've never been incarcerated. Have you had that?
Yeah, I have. I've seen that in my comments as well. So there has to be a better way. I know that they're working on improving communication, but it's still not where it needs to be.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And then what else? The MEUC boost and what's the other thing? The overpayment waiver that have never been addressed, which like those are the 2 programs that are optional, the 2 provisions from the stimulus bill that are optional. So the EDD clearly stated that they would be taking advantage of those and providing the MEUC boost for the mixed earners, the $100 boost, and then the overpayment waiver for certain claims. And they addressed that they were going to implement those. What was it? It was like months ago.
Yeah, and at some point they're going to need to get that up and running if they are going to do the mixed earners unemployment compensation, because that's in the new stimulus bill that we expect to pass, but hasn't as of the filming of this video. So they're going to need to figure that out at some point, how to roll that out.
From my understanding from the Department of Labor documents, they get to decide exactly how and when to implement it because it's an optional program. For overpayment waivers, it stated it was up to the state to determine. And then for the MEUC boost, there were some specifics, but in terms of timing, there was none, right? You didn't see anything either in Department of Labor in terms of timing, right?
No, I didn't. What I did see that leads me to believe that even once the EDD does mention something about it, is that there's going to be a request for more documentation. If I remember correctly, I think you need
an application.
Yeah, you need to have made like $5,000 in self-employment to qualify. So they're going to need people to send something in verifying that. We have a couple questions, and I have made videos on this. I don't like to do the stimulus ones though until there's a little bit more detail, but I have at least 2 questions on the Golden State stimulus, the $600 stimulus check that I bet you'll know. Okay. So the first one is, there's that $30,000 upper income limit. Is that for couples or is that for individuals?
So when you file, here's the disclaimer, I'm not a CPA, right? So take your questions to a certified tax professional or a tax preparer. But so the $30,000, so the Cal EITC is per income tax filing. So you can't receive more than 1 Cal EITC for income tax filing. So from reading through the tax code, the information on the franchise tax board, et cetera, on that tax credit, it states that it is an income limit of $30,000 and below in order to receive the tax credit. So if you are married filing jointly, you're going to file 1 tax return. And so you wouldn't receive 2 tax credits on the same tax return. So anywhere you plug it into a calculator just to test and prove it, if you type in $40,000 married filing jointly, 2 kids, then it rejects it. If you type in $35,000 or $50,000, it rejects all of it over $30,000, but you can qualify for the federal EITC because that's a different set of qualifications and a different income limit depending on a few different factors. So for Cal EITC, it has to be $30,000 and below. But it's based on AGI, adjusted gross income, which is your overall income, not earned income, but all sources of income minus deductions. So if you have tax deductions like children, et cetera, that are going to drive your AGI AGI down, then you could potentially still meet it if you had more income, but your AGI is lower because of deductions. So people need to be thinking about their AGI, and you can't quite estimate that unless you are an accountant, a CPA, and know exactly how to work in all those deductions. So they're going to be looking at their AGI, and it's going to be $30,000 cap regardless, because it's per tax filing, from my understanding of reading all that documentation.
That's my understanding as well, but I just wanted to
Okay,
get
good.
your take on
Yeah.
it. And then the second thing is, you said per tax filing. So I know a lot of people were wondering if they get $600 for dependents, but per tax filing means $600 for your whole family.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's not dependent on number of dependents. It's just a flat $600 direct payment per tax filing. So no, people have been asking if number of dependents factors in, and it does not. How are you doing with all the tech stuff with YouTube?
Terrible. Like, there's literally days when I want to cry. And I think I just don't allow enough time. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I want to hook up my camera to do today's Zoom, and I'm looking at it 15 minutes beforehand, thinking it's just going to be something that I plug in and it's ready. And it's not. It's like you have to download an app, and then the app doesn't work with the Apple. It's always, I don't budget enough time for whatever is needed with tech. I'm new to this. In the movie theater, we worked with projectors, which I feel like are kind of like big cameras, but it's totally different.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing well in that, and I'm like clinging to my phone.
Well, neither am I. So like I feel like we've both learned a lot in a very short period of time. I'm using essentially the same equipment that I've always had, but not in the same way. I film it same day and then edit it and then get it posted same day. I think you do the same, right?
Yeah.
Because we have to, because
it's very rare when I have one planned in advance.
Yeah, it's like, it's time sensitive. And then what's been happening a lot too is I will record like 3 different videos in one day, and then I won't even end up using 2 of them because, and we were just talking about this, because by the time it comes time to edit it and post it, there's a new development.
It is. But to our viewers who might be thinking about doing YouTube as a different career path, you totally can do it without any extra equipment. You can do it literally with just a cell phone. That's except for my lives. And even I think the phone would work for a live. It would be hard to read the comments, but except for my lives, I'm still even editing off of my phone. And I've gotten really fast at editing on my phone, which is why I'm hesitant to learn all the other things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's been a lot to learn. Our videos are time sensitive, and the EDD doesn't give out consistent information or changes what they say or doesn't do it how they say they're going to do it. I also have videos where like I'm looking up like this, because I figured that if I have a lot filmed like this as well, because I figured if I could do this, the glare would out.
And the box comes up when you do an overlay.
That's terrible. Terrible.
Like it.
So certainly a learning curve doing YouTube, and certainly did not think that I would still be talking about unemployment almost a whole year later from getting furloughed.
It's nuts how much content there is every week. And it's like, you and I have both said before how we wish that it, like, we're glad that we have a channel and like that it has been growing well, but we wish that there wasn't this amount of content that's having to fill in for a government agency that should be answering their phones to answer these questions and paying people on time and not 3 months late. And it's nuts. It is. So sad. Well, you've been doing Clubhouse is what that was, right? I saw you've been participating in Clubhouse.
Yeah, I don't know. That can be like a big rabbit hole and a time suck and things like that. It's really interesting, but I'm not sure how much I'm gonna use it. It'll be interesting to see where that app goes in the future.
Yeah, I haven't wanted to join in on it because all of my industry friends want to have me present in it, but I don't want to be in it because I like Like, I think it would be good for building connections. But I feel like for me personally right now, because of how divided my time is amongst my kids and my business, different facets of my business, any time that I spend creating content or posting a video or a discussion, I want it to be monetized from a business standpoint, because I'm with my kids from like 6 a.m. until like 12 or 1 doing kid stuff and homeschooling, etc. And then I only have from 1 until like 5 every day that I'm working without kids. So that's why I haven't jumped on that bandwagon, because I don't want to invest time if it's not directly going to be translated into business growth for me. And I feel like right now YouTube is the biggest platform for developing kind of a more profitable and furthest reaching outstretch of my business right now. So that's why I haven't jumped on there. But are you liking it? How did it go?
I liked it. It was interesting. It was a lot of
The squeak tells me that you didn't.
I'm just not sure. I definitely felt like the one that I was kind of helping to host was fine, and I was glad to do that, and I knew how much time it was going to be in advance. But you could just go into all these different rooms and you can really like go down a rabbit hole, and it like notifies you when someone you know is, it's just like, yeah, I feel like you're probably making the better decision there, and like don't do anything that's going to distract you and like make it harder to get the videos up. But that's something that like I really admire about you, is that how often you're able to get those videos up and how quickly, and knowing that you have kids and animals and just life, cars, houses, that kind of thing. Like, yeah.
Failing computers. Oh, thank you. I don't. So like last month in January, when you and I both noticed that we had like a spike in traffic, and I feel like monitoring your channel, sound like I'm stalking you, which we mildly stalk each other, and that's fine because we both just chat about it. But like, I know that when we click on each other's pages, because you have TubeBuddy and I have TubeBuddy, so I know that you see like TubeBuddy is the plugin that allows us to see exactly how our stats compare if we click over to someone else's channel. And so like you can see our ups and downs are just like completely mimicking one another because we have such similar content. And so when I saw that spike last month, I was just like, I'm going to publish 2 videos every day, and I'm going to see if people get irritated at it and it's too much, or if it helps. And it definitely helped with growth of my channel. And people, I had one subscriber that commented that I needed to stop posting so much and post once a week. And then other than that, people seem to just like appreciate the content, which I didn't expect to be the response. Like I thought that it would be overkill. But it was a lot of work getting them up, 2 videos a day. And it's kind of like a done is better than perfect scenario with me publishing content, where sometimes I will publish something like I want the facts and the information to be as spot on as it possibly can be. But if I have audio glitches, which I frequently have, like I'll have static, or like you witnessed it firsthand at the start of this live, like I screw up my tech. Like sometimes I'll just post it anyway and it'll just be a little bit imperfect, and you just kind of have to be okay with that. And posted imperfect thing that still has valuable content and is what people need is still better than not doing it at all to a certain point, like unless it's harming your overall brand or content isn't up to standard. But like, yeah, with just getting it done with all the other things going on, like I kind of have like a dedicated, I feel like a lot of it is just mental blocks too that stop you from actually publishing a video or from like completing a project and working at it a little bit each day. Like there's a lot of things that can hold us back with that. And so last month I just tried to just push it all out there, and it worked pretty well.
I mean, I get that. Like there's in some ways I feel like once I'm back to work that I might actually have an easier time getting the videos done, because I don't have kids. So I'm like, oh, well, I can just do it in 30 minutes. And then 30 minutes turns into like 2 hours. I mean, our viewers don't know this, but I come to you frequently on Instagram, and you have just been so helpful giving me business advice and different ways to think about that.
Oh, good.
I just really appreciate that. And then I do want to improve and do this as a business. It has been nice having the unemployment as a safety net. And I will also say that I had a vision board from January of 2020, and on there I had started a YouTube channel. I don't know if I would have ever started a YouTube channel if it weren't for the pandemic. And as much as there's people that are really struggling right now, and I posted a survey as a community post on my channel, and it's almost 40% of my viewers are not going to have jobs to go back to. The companies that they were previously with have had to close up shop, and that's a lot. But someone in my comments said that he's been able to do medical school this whole time. And because of being low income, he's got a lot of grants. I know some of my coworkers have gone back to school. I have one coworker who has written a 700-page novel. That's longer than the longest Harry Potter. So in some ways, as terrible as this has been, I won't say how other people feel about it, but for me, it gave me an opportunity to try something that I maybe not have, because I will tell you that from the day I got furloughed, I've worked at that job for 25 years. To this day, I felt scared then. I feel scared now. I do feel like, oh my goodness, what if that doesn't work out? So this has to.
I feel like we have so many shared subscribers, and they're all very similar in terms of their support level of our channel. And I feel like that is something that's unique to our channels that I don't see on a lot of YouTube channels, is how supportive the subscribers are with wanting us to be successful, to the point that they will go above and beyond to leave affirming comments and run our playlists in the background to help our channel, etc., beyond just getting the information that they need and leaving. So I feel like we have a really good group of subscribers.
Yeah. On my interview video for the other job, the things that people said about me made me feel so good. And with YouTube, and you mentioned being a public face, and I mentioned putting on the weight, I was like, are people going to judge me for my weight or my appearance or my age, or for
they love you, Shelly. They leave you marriage proposals in your comments, every other comment.
Too. We really do have an amazing group of people that are our subscribers. I completely agree with that. And that was something that I was really pleasantly surprised by in the whole YouTube space, really, because I've heard that this can be pretty ugly. So that was really refreshing.
Your viewers want to know if you're single, because I've read your comments. I've seen your live streams. They want information.
I'm single, but I'm not dating because it's coronavirus, and I might have to go back to work. Oh, we can't say coronavirus, so I'm not dating.
I'll edit it out. It's okay.
You'll bleep it.
The illness.
the illness. So right now I'm struggling to just balance getting YouTube done, and I may be going back to my old job or starting a new job. So there's not a lot of time for dating.
Internet stalkers.
But maybe in the future.
But what if you find your partner on YouTube? What if it's a viewer, Shelly, and you don't know it yet?
Well, we're going to film it and monetize it and go on a journey together.
We could do like a Shelly's Million Dating series.
Yes.
When our EDD content drives down, when they finally fix their problems, that will be our next segment. It'll be, what do we title it? I don't even know. Who wants to date a millionaire? Who wants to date Shelly's Millions?
Shelly's Millions of Suitors.
Shelly's Million Suitors. And then I will screen them, and I'll put like a really bad one in with every batch. Just for
I'm gonna give you the thumbs up. Address one more thing, probably.
Which
that
one?
people think we have beef. No, or even like disliking each other or like stepping on each other's toes. I do, since I tend to procrastinate, I often get a video out after Jenny does. But a lot of times it's filmed or planned earlier, and it's just me that's lacking putting it out. I think that we do it in a different way, so that hopefully it gives our viewers some peace of mind when we're both saying the same thing.
And same with me too. But I think that also too, when we publish content, like because it takes so much work and time to research the content, because you and I both go to primary sources. Like we will read the bill text, we will read the Department of Labor text.
Yeah.
Like I read tax code yesterday for like an hour looking at it like this because I don't understand it. And like I think that we spend so much time doing that. And then by the time we film, like we have to get ready, we have to film it, and then we have to edit it, and then you have to upload it. And uploading it takes forever because of all the ways you have to optimize it. And then by the time it's posted, we haven't looked at each other's channels and we don't know what the other person is publishing. We just know that we have those subscribers that are asking us the same questions. And so that's where a lot of the content comes from.
Yeah.
I didn't do any sort of like intro.
Oh, should I say, like, should we pretend that we're starting this?
I are going on our first date.
Ooh, I'm nervous.
Hope I don't have to pay the bill.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Good thing I don't need to rely on the EDD to pay the bill, because nobody'd be paying for the date.
Rita can pay.
No, she certainly could with hers.
Oh, man.
I heard her salary was $200,000.
Okay, but I'm really struggling with the intro though. What do I do? What do we do?
I always like wave like this, and I put up those like,
and then you do the point. Watching your video, and so you repeat the same thing, and I repeat the same thing, but mine is much shorter. Like I think I just say like, "Hey guys."
I can be long-winded.
No, but you have pointers and like hand gestures,
Which
like
is
a
the
flight
only
attendant.
time you see my hands in the video.
If you ever do something different, it's going to be really alarming. And then you end with your click, but you had one video. You had one video where you had your M50, right? Like one.
And I just rolled out of the frame.
I loved it so much, and I think I forgot to comment on that one because I saw it at like midnight. I feel like you could do like the chair slide where you like.
Oh, yeah. Or I could like that camera's really close. No, it's not that close, but it's almost close enough that I could